Hey everyone, Swanton007 here to do my Taboo Tuesday 2004 review. I just finished watching it. I watched the first match a couple days ago, but I rewatched it to get back onto what happened. And overall, it was a very average pay-per-view. I have rated it a bit high because there were a couple matches that were like could have been 3 stars, and just I don't like. Now I'll get into it. The pay-per-view started with this is the first ever Taboo Tuesday, first ever time when they gave it to the people, and like I guess it was a success. I mean, it was an enjoyable pay-per-view. It was nice it was cool to see like what the public picked, and yeah, there was a nice heel turn in the pay-per-view as well, which I'll get to later. So it started with an IC Championship match. You had like 14 people to choose from. Shelton Benjamin won with like 37%. Everyone else had 36, and Batista had 20. Coachman had 7. Like it was a fast-paced match. It was fairly good. It went for like I think it was like 12 minutes or something, maybe. But I felt it was kind of slow. I felt it was kind of like not as exhilarating. Like there wasn't as much energy in it. It was like fast paced, but there wasn't very much energy in it. If you kind of know what I mean. It ended when Jericho jumped off the top rope or something and did a springboard off the top rope or something, and Shelton Benjamin turned it into a T-bone suplex, which was a pretty cool ending, but it didn't really make the pay-per-view, the match any better. I gave it a 2 3/4 stars. Like, Benjamin got his first championship win after coming back like 3 weeks ago or something, 2 weeks ago, maybe even more, 6 maybe. And yeah, and we've got, at the beginning of the night, they brought out all the divas, all the women, and they worked out if it was going to be between a schoolgirl, nurse, and a French maid, and it was a schoolgirl, and they had a women's battle royal for the women's championship, which Trish won. It was like when I first started watching it, it just seemed like a kind of like, here's the chicks, watch them wrestle in schoolgirl outfits for your enjoyment. Yeah, so sorry about that. Overall, I think I gave that a 2 stars. Trish won after eliminating Molly Holly. It actually didn't turn out that bad. I mean, midway through I was like, oh, this is going to be shit. I'm going to be giving this like a half star or a dud or something. And then it really picked up near the end when there was, who was there? There was Trish Stratus, Molly Holly, Stacy Keibler, and some other babyface girl. And it actually turned out not that bad. Trish won after pushing Molly through the middle of the ropes, which I thought, not that bad. Trish won. She keeps her title. Everything's usual in the WWE. Yeah, nothing that great. Nothing special. But it was not a bad women's Royal Rumble, whatever. Next match we had Kane and Snitsky. The matches of choice were a chain match, a chair match, or something else. Chain won, and they really didn't. It really wasn't needed. It was like they were terrible. They ended up bringing out the chair anyway and whacking Kane over the head with it. Kane got put on a stretcher. 1.5 stars. Like it was alright, and then Snitsky like just annihilated him. Did what Kane did to Shawn Michaels as like payback, and the story wasn't that great. I think it was lucky that they sort of killed off the Leader Has a Baby with Kane story pretty quickly, because it was like it'd been 4 or 5 months, and it was old. The second match with Jeff Hardy on with Matt Hardy on pay-per-view, it was a really stale sort of storyline by that early on. And I gave that match a 1.5 star. I think Kane's out for a while. Then we've got Eric Bischoff versus Eugene. They fight. Eugene wins with a Hulk Hogan leg drop or something, and turns out Eric Bischoff has to either be Eugene's slave, wear a dress, or get his head shaved. Turns out he gets his head shaved. Coach tries to stop him from getting it. Vince McMahon comes out and does a whole heap of shit. Turns out Eric gets his head shaved, and yeah, 1 star for that match. Nothing special. I'm going to move on from that. We've got a World Tag Team Championship match with La Resistance versus Chris Benoit and Edge. The 3 people for the World Heavyweight Championship match were Shawn, Chris Benoit, and Edge. Shawn Michaels won that, so the other 2 went on to do this tag match, which Chris Benoit won after Edge walked out on him and took his car and drove away, but he comes back and interrupts the World Heavyweight Championship match. But this was actually not half bad. It got really exciting towards the end, like, the pace really picked up, Edge was doing a lot of cool stuff, and then he walked out, which, like, kept that up. So why the headlock was being put on Chris Benoit, you watched Edge walk out, which sort of, like, helped the match a little bit. I felt that when Edge walked out, that we don't have to watch the headlock for fucking 2 minutes. But in the end, Chris Benoit ended up fighting out both of them and winning the tag titles with a crippler crossface on one of them. I don't care which one. And yeah, 3 stars for that match. They end up losing the titles 6 days later at Raw. Then we have Christy, Hemme versus Carmella in a lingerie pillar fight. My god, dud, move on. They were hot. Christy, Hemme didn't have all the stuff on, sort of wasn't that great without all the stuff on. And yeah, then we've got the World Heavyweight Championship match between Triple H and Shawn. Now, at this time, Shawn was supposed to have an injury on his leg, and Triple H was like, nah, and he ended up actually having one, and Triple H just targeted that for the whole match, and it was boring, but it's kind of picked up there at the end. Shawn Michaels tuned up the band and hit a sweet tune music, and then out of nowhere, Edge comes in and spears him. Big heel turn. I think they end up Shawn and Edge end up rivaling, and Triple H pins Shawn, and 2 3/4 stars. I mean, it was alright. The psychology was really good, but what else do you expect from Triple H and Shawn? I mean, the match wasn't that great, mainly because of Shawn's injury or whatever, the storyline, and like, it was only given 12 minutes or something, and what can you do with 12 minutes? Like, you should be able to, but like, some people have given this like 3 stars. Oh, I don't know. Dave Meltzer gave it 3.5. I felt it was worth a 2.5 to a 3, so I just went in the middle. And yeah, I was fine with Triple H winning. I don't like him with the championship at this stage in his career. Someone else should have it, like Edge or Chris Benoit really should have kept it. Like, I mean, even Randy Orton could still have it. And yeah, well, it gives it off to Batista at WrestleMania, which is okay, I guess. And yeah, well, then we move on to Ric Flair versus Randy Orton, which was a pretty good match of the night. This was a steel cage match. There was a steel cage, false count anywhere, and submission. Steel cage won pretty convincingly. I think it was like 50 extra% or something. Who knows? And yeah, it was really good. Both bled. Randy Orton started bleeding like 2 minutes in or something. Ric Flair just threw him into the cage. Ric Flair started bleeding at about 6 minutes into the match, being thrown into the cage. And this match only went for 10 minutes. And I was very surprised. I gave it 3.5 stars for only 10 minutes. It was fairly good. Randy Orton won with an RKO from out of nowhere. And yeah, pretty much Ric Flair dominated the whole match. He was the only one trying to escape. This is the famous match where you got to see Ric Flair's ass, which was not the prettiest sight. After the match, after Randy Orton pinned him, Ric Flair gave out. Ric Flair was the heel at the time. He extended his hand and shook Randy Orton's hand, and they traded mutual respect for the match. And like, I thought Ric Flair was going to put out his hand and then do an old Nate's little dirtiest man alive trick, and I was just like, wow, that was a pretty good ending to a pretty good match. And I gave it 3.5 stars. I felt like this is a match that, even though I didn't give it 4 or above, I still think people should watch. This is definitely a recommended. Overall, I gave the pay-per-view a 7.25. I believe I'm the only person to review this at this point in time on YouTube. So guys, let's hope this gets me some subscribers and some views. Okay, so guys, I'm a Swanton007. Comment, like, and subscribe. Please subscribe. Thanks, guys.